Hello and welcome to Wide Angle this week. Is the RSS going through an image makeover ahead of the 2019 elections? We're asking this question because this week in New Delhi, the RSS Sarsanchalak Mohan Bhagwat held a conclave, a 3-day event at Delhi's Vigyan Bhavan, open to guests by special invitation, where he fashioned a new vision, according to him, for the RSS, where it is coming across as an inclusive organization looking to create harmony in India in a highly polarized political space. Is this really a strategy? Is this a reinvention? What does this all mean in these turbulent times in Indian politics? Joining us to talk about that, we have Professor Rakesh Sinha of the RSS, who's going to sort of break down some of this for us, and M.K. Venu as well, to talk about whether this is really political strategy or what is behind this idea of the RSS today saying we are for a Yukt Bharat, not a Mukt Bharat. Where is this message of inclusiveness coming from? Because it's clearly new.
I think those people who don't know RSS, this is a new for those people. In fact, Mohan Bhagwat ji has articulated things which actually RSS is. There are critics in this country who are professional critic of the RSS. They have projected RSS in such a way that it is anti-Muslim, it is anti-democratic, there is no inner democracy in the RSS, RSS is anti-that. These are the criticism of the RSS which are not valid, because RSS in reality working for the upliftment of the common people and does not discriminate between one religion and another religion or on the basis of caste. Therefore, Mohan Bhagwat ji is a most authoritative voice of the RSS. Being the RSS chief, he made it clear that for what RSS stands. Therefore, I don't consider that either it is a election centric or it is a image makeover. It is the representation of the realities of the RSS. The most important thing is that there are certain eternal values which RSS cherishes. As long back Mohan Bhagwat ji in his interview in the organizer said that except Hindu Rashtra, concept of Hindu Rashtra, everything is negotiable in the RSS. So, this is the eternal value and ideology which RSS cherishes, that the concept of Hindu Rashtra. Other thing is based on changing socio-economic realities. So, Mohan Bhagwat ji has addressed the changed socio-economic realities of the nation and the world.
But Rakesh, before I bring in M.K. Venu on this, just this point that you mentioned, that everything except Hindu Rashtra is negotiable as far as the RSS is concerned. But it is this very idea of Hindu Rashtra that people find exclusivist, there is this tendency towards the hate and the polarization we see stemming from the fact that this needs to be a Hindu Rashtra. So, isn't it a little contradictory when you say that everything is negotiable but not this idea?
You know, when you judge Hindu Rashtra, the term and concept of Hindu Rashtra from the Semitic yardstick, Semitic means Islamic, Christian yardsticks, then you will find that this Hindu is a theocratic concept. But Hindu cannot be defined in Semitic term, because there is no finality in the Hindu way of life. And the very term Hinduism is a colonial construct. If there is no Christianism, there is no Islamism, there is no Judaism, then how Hinduism? During the colonial era, when there was a census 1872 to 1941, the census commissioners have discussed what Hindu religion is. They found ample diversity in the mode of worship, in philosophy, way of life. Therefore, they constructed a term Hinduism. So, Hindutva and Hindu way of life is inclusive. Here, no differentiation is made on the basis of mode of worship. Therefore, this is a very important thing which you have raised. India is an exceptional nation in the regard that it carries a legacy of civilization and culture, exclusively legacy of culture. Panini is born in Pakistan, but it is India which celebrates Panini. As for us, Abhinav Gupta, who was born in Kashmir, and Panini born in Pakistan, both are equally important. Therefore, to depict and characterize a nation which is 10,000 years old, which is a pre-Mohammedan, pre-Islamic era, this is a Hindu is the best term. So, Hindu nation is an adjective, not an objective. When it becomes objective, then you call a Hindu state. RSS never uses the term state. RSS makes a difference between state and nation. Moreover, one thing I want to add, there are a lot of things which we have to unfold, because we have unfolded within the organization difference between state and nation, but we have now to address to the world what is our understanding of state and nation in more explicit way, in a formal narrative, so that such confusion should be obliterated.
Okay, all right. Let me bring in also M.K. Venu, the founding editor of The Wire, who's joining us for this conversation. We're hearing what Professor Sinha has to say. This is the narrative that we're getting as we see critique of this conclave taking place. But while this reshaping or reimagining is taking place, is it something that people are going to believe? I think fundamentally that's the question. We have seen 4 years where the idea of a polarization along religious lines, the definitions or identities of what it means to be Hindu versus being, you know, a Hindutvavadi, so to speak, have created deep divisions in society. Is this convincing? I think that's the question. Is what Mohan Bhagwat said at the conclave convincing? Because it contradicts so many positions that the RSS has taken, whether it is on caste inclusiveness, whether it is on religious identity, whether it is on the idea of what the nation should be.
See, I'll put it this way. He has said a lot of things which to me and a lot of other, writers, journalists, thinkers, have surprised, I mean, I've been surprised by a lot of things that he said. And while Rakesh is saying that there's a continuity in the thinking of the RSS, but I think there are 2-3 things that Mr. Mohan Bhagwat said, which I don't think represent continuity per se. They also represent a certain departure. I'll give you just 2 examples. One, he said, and one of the departures is represented by an interview today reproduced in the Indian Express of Sarsang Chalak Sudarshan ji. He said that the Indian Constitution does not represent the core of Bharatiyata, the
Correct,
values as that Bharat.
And today Mohan Bhagwat has said the constitution is the document.
Mr. Mohan Bhagwat made a slight departure in my view when he said we accept the constitution as it is, including the terms secular, socialist, right?
Right.
Now, for me this is a departure. Number 2, he invoked Hedgewar, the founder of RSS, and he said Hedgewar, we have the mandate of Hedgewar
So open the door to adapting.
to reinterpret, adapt to today's times. Some of the teachings, writings of say Guru Golwalkar, So I think this is a departure, and because he is invoking Hedgewar, and I feel that there is a move within the Sangh away from Golwalkar, whose writings were very harsh and very, some of his sentences, if you go through his writing, could be read as exclusive or exclusivist.
Yeah.
And there is a much more focus on Deen Dayal Upadhyay these days, integral humanism. And in that context, I was very surprised that Bhagwatji also invoked M.N. Roy's radicalism. M.N. Roy was the founder of Communist Party of India, and he also went through his own journey.
Correct.
He was invited by Lenin to attend International Communist Presidium. He was a member of that Presidium, which is a very prestigious thing. But then he also moves away from Marxism and moves towards a different ideological thinking, where he talks about the sovereignty of the individual, the moral, appealing to the individual's moral and reasoned the individual as a moral and reasoned rational entity. So I think there is something going on that he is invoking M.N. Roy, and he is saying that Hedgewar also said that communists, as long as they have the same goals, we can work with communists, quoting Hedgewar, for common goals. Now there is something going on, I don't know what it is. He should be able to explain that better.
In fact, that's the question. So there is, while you're saying
And I would say these would be tested in the coming
months,
yeah.
actually. You are saying that on the one hand, this is a continuation of RSS ideology as a cultural organization about inclusive Hinduism, but the narrative certainly has been one of aggression, of exclusivism, of dominance, cultural dominance by the RSS's vision of what Hinduism is. Now, these are clearly contradictory terms. So, placing this conclave in the political landscape we are inhabiting today, where every night on mainstream television you see this kind of polarization play out between spokespersons of various political parties, including the ruling BJP, where communities are being targeted on the basis of their religious identity. Where does this fit in today? Is it a message to the BJP?
The polarization is not a new phenomenon in India. Since 1960s, this polarization has been taking place. As to defeat J.B. Kriplani in Amroha in Uttar Pradesh 1963 by-election, Nehru fielded a candidate from the Muslim community at the last moment, denying the ticket to Ramnath, who was a Congress worker and recommended by district, state and central parliamentary board. So, this vote bank politics is a core of this polarization, and RSS has been abused since 1940s as a fascist and communal. Same allegations have been repeated. When RSS is accused and alleged, then there is nothing wrong. No, discourse is fine. Discourse is standard. But when some people who are not the RSS members are responding, so I think that the general decline of the discourse for the last 2.5 decades in this country, and this conclave is very important. This makes a distinction between old discourse and new discourse, and this has revived a new trend, new healthy, critical and constructive trend of discourse. Mohan Bhagwat ji has communicated to the world that ideological adversaries are not your enemies. You can sit together, you can debate with them, and still you have both the different idea. And I would mention, when Pranab Mukherjee went to the RSS function, first sentence of Mohan Bhagwat ji's speech was that Pranab da hai, RSS hai. Means both have different identity, different perspective, but still we are together.
But I think, Professor Sinha, the question really is that you are saying that this is the message coming from the head of the RSS today, going by what Hedgewar has also talked about in terms of adaptability, staying in tune with the times and step with the times. But it's one thing to have this message come out in Vigyan Bhavan in the center of Delhi and all of us listen to it. The fact is, you have Gaurakshak Dals who are on the ground, you have vigilantism, you have communal violence, you have people who are targeting minorities in India on the basis of their religion. So, you are saying this in Delhi, but how does it trickle down to the ground?
The violence,
it has to trickle down.
The Prashant Pujari in Bangalore and Akhlaq in Uttar Pradesh.
Yes.
They were killed. One was the cow protector, other was alleged to be taking the beef. Now, question is that
which was proven to be not true.
No, I don't want to go in that debate, but the question is that where was RSS? RSS was nowhere. It is the critic who are invoking something which does not belong to the RSS, and RSS has come time and again dissociating from that. But here Mohan Bhagwat ji in categorical and very critical terms made it clear that RSS does not have anything to do with any act which is related to violence.
Okay, Venu, this is a very interesting comment, because yes, technically perhaps the people who were involved in these incidents of violence were not members of the RSS or linked to the RSS, and yet common wisdom says the RSS is the ideological backbone of the BJP, and members of the BJP who have been accused or indicted or alleged to have been involved with several incidents. So, I mean, it's, yes, technically they may not be part of the organization, but they take their sanction from this message.
See here, the nature of the organization, such as it is RSS, it's not like any other NGO or something, right? It's it doesn't have an organizational structure that that you see, that you normally see in the case of other socio-cultural organization or political organization. So it's basically, it's a Swayam Sevak, the very definition,
Correct, yeah.
It's a very loosely structured body of people who come together, believe in a
further their own
basically,
identity and their cause, right?
But the problem that RSS has faced historically is that their affiliates or loosely, they would say loosely connected affiliates have got involved in certain mass movement mobilizations where there has been violence, right? Whether it's a demolition of Babri Masjid, etc. And Rakesh, it has brought, RSS has worried from time to time, it has brought bad name to it,
Correct, yeah.
So now what Mr. Bhagwat is saying, what is one sentence that he said, really it stayed with me, where he said that you cannot blame, again quoting Hedgewar, you can't blame the Muslim rulers or British rulers forever for the ills facing Hindu society. You have to look inwards. And in the same vein, if you extend this logic, he's also then suggesting that you should not demonize the minorities as a means to consolidate the Hindus.
Yeah.
In a political sense,
Right.
what is called political Hindutva. Now, if that is to be taken seriously, and if Mr. Bhagwat is serious about this formulation, then a lot of the RSS affiliates, like the Bajrang Dal, VHP, then should put a stop to some of their campaigns, which tend to sort of, which tend to create a political mobilization based on demonization of minorities.
Okay.
I welcome what he said, but I think it should be carried to its logical
I would
conclusion.
respond to his remark.
Yeah.
The first thing, that RSS is not a loose organization. It is a well-defined, structured organization.
Okay.
This is the only exceptional organization where a structure is well-defined. Who are Swayamsevaks we know, because Sakha is well-defined thing. It's not that one day you are coming and you become the
No,
RSS
in the sense
man.
they move in and out.
No. You just count the entire fringe elements from any side.
Right.
Their number is not more than 300, 400.
But Professor, a larger point I think that he's making.
Just the remarks, some loose remarks of some people don't define the 90 years old organization with 50,000 sakhas. It is Mohan Bhagwat, it is RSS, these are the RSS functionaries who defined what RSS think about that. Number two, no RSS affiliate is engaged in the violence. Till now, no organization. Bajrang Dal is taken as a name to just give a dog bad name and hang him. That is for the Bajrang Dal. It is also a nationalist organization. Some members have very inarticulated response to media. This inarticulate and over-enthusiastic remark creates problem that RSS has curbed them. That is not censoring, just a kind of indoctrination. Second important thing is that that Sri Guruji Golwalkar long back said that we are not, this is a reactionary Hinduism. He responded to Hindu Mahasabha, that is reactionary Hinduism. He said that even if Prophet Muhammad not born, the RSS would have worked. Because Mohan Bhagwat said, we are working for the consolidation. Consolidation means liberating Hindu society from ills which inflicted over the years, like untouchability, casteism. As long 1934, it is not RSS invited Mahatma Gandhi. We are a very small organization. Mahatma Gandhi, on his own initiative, with Jamna Lal Bajaj, there is a perception that Mahatma Gandhi came with Dr. Hedgewar's invitation. No, it is otherwise. He saw the RSS camp from the Jamna Lal Bajaj residence. He saw the functioning of the RSS workers. Then he was influenced. They are disciplined work. Who are they? Then he came to the RSS. He found two Mahar and Brahmins together, sitting together, eating together. He asked the caste. They were not revealing the caste. Then RSS functionary given a command, tell your caste. Then Mahatma Gandhi said it is a miracle by Dr. Hedgewar. He invited Dr. Hedgewar to meet. Then Hedgewar went to meet Mahatma Gandhi. So, untouchability and the casteism both are anathema to RSS. Second, 1967, Sri Golwalkar called a conference in Udupi, that is a famous conference. For the first time, orthodox Hindu religious leaders came together on one platform and they discarded untouchability. So, this is a continuity change. What Mohan Bhagwat ji has done a great service to the nation, that he addressed the changed socio-economic realities. Eternal values remain unchanged. eternal ideology remain unchanged, but things which were in 1940s are not in 2018.
So, Professor Sinha, I think the question is, if these eternal values were there, where did the message get lost along the way? Because you say on the one hand that these have been consistent values of the RSS. They are not new. This is not a new reimagining. Yes. It's just basically a reiteration rather than an imagining. So where did the messages get lost? Because at the end of the day, the way we see identity politics, religious politics, communal politics divide India and take that fuel from what they say is the ideology of the RSS.
No, there is one reason. You might be knowing Subhadra Joshi, who formed the Sampradayikta Virodhi Committee in 1960s. Since Subhadra Joshi
Communist Party of India
till the date. You know, the over-dominating or predominant Marxist and Nehruvian intellectuals have given the perception-based politics, perception-based discourse. That there are three things in democracy: facts, interpretation, and perception. Perception comes last. But here you begin discourse on RSS, the perception. I'm just giving you that there is internal threats. 1, 2, 3. Guruji said internal threats Muslims. He spoke this in 1946. The book is the editor of the book, the auditor, the editors of the book's preface is dated 1960. He took 3 years to collect the speeches. 3 years. So definitely after 1957 he worked. So it is speeches till before early 50s and late 40s. So that time you just go through the speeches of Govind Vallabh Pant, UP Chief Minister. He warned the Muslims that don't act as a leaguers. You go to many Congress leaders who were writing articles in Hindustan Times and other papers warning the Muslim that time that you are akin to the pre-independent. So this was in that context. Second, in Telangana 1948, Communist Party started an armed revolution that was a threat to the Indian state, not only Nehru government. That was to unsettle the state. Then that was number 2. Suppose I say Naxalites is an internal threat today. After 50 years, Naxalites become the non-violent and useful to the society. Then I would be blamed by that generous posterity that Rakesh Sinha is wrongly blaming the. That's why Mohan Bhagwat ji has contextualized the Guruji's vision. Guruji is not appropriately represented in bunch of thoughts. He is appropriately and aptly represented in the Guruji, the man, and the mission.
So, but here, I want to just add one thing here. Rakesh says that Bajrang Dal does not represent the Sangh Parivar, but it
represents Sangh Parivar. But it does not. The people call it it is not. It is a nationalist organization, well organized organization.
It's not a fringe organization. It's a nationalist organization. What
it is like that, giving a dog bad name and then hang him.
But Rakesh, there are as per the state's record, whether this government or previous government. Police record, investigation records. There are trials going on where Bajrang Dal and VHP, car sevaks, they indulged in activities
acts of violence.
Yeah. So in that sense, my limited point is even the BJP has carried on a very polarized campaign around love jihad, etc. जो भी है, घर वापसी, not so much love jihad and a whole lot of other violent campaigns, which Prime Minister Modi himself once remarked that 80% of all these Gaurakshas, दुकान खोल रखी है इन्होंने. Anyway, there was a conflicting view on that also. So the simple point I'm making is, if Mohan Bhagwat, we welcome what Mohan Bhagwat ji said about the fact that all these campaigns, which violent campaigns, are dividing society. So my question is, what action, how will his message go down to various affiliates, and how will they behave in the next say 1 or 2 years, even if assuming that there is nothing to do with the elections? Do you think that it'll
can it
it'll
roll
make a
back?
difference?
Because what we're also seeing, apart from the violence, is also in the language.
Because he also the general message was that society needs harmony now.
I contradict your assumption that Modi has done a polarized campaign. The attack on the politics of vote bank is not a polarization. It is a counter democratic polarization. What I say,
But when Manmohan Singh, he also mentioned, Bhagwat also gave specific example कि ये कब्रिस्तान और ये शमशान घाट की पॉलिटिक्स करने वाले और ये भगवा आतंक दोनों का उन्होंने जोड़ा. जब शमशान घाट और वो तो बिल्कुल वो तो मोदी जी का स्टेटमेंट यूपी असेंबली इलेक्शन में था ना वो तो।
Bhagwat ji is very categorical that the level of discourse should be healthy, should be empirical, should be normative. It should not be counter normative, counter empiricism, and the one thing I am adding that, you know, Bhagwat ji, his intention was to address the nation on all the relevant issues for which RSS being a powerful organization stands for. The way RSS being demonized by its critics, including Rahul Gandhi, comparing it to Muslim Brotherhood. Now he invited the critics also to come and ask the question. You know, surprisingly the questions were asked about even the post of the Sarsang Chalak. No question was censored, and Bhagwat ji has answered each and every question in very forthright manner. You know, there is two things here. That RSS definition of secularism is different from the prevalent secularism. That there is no minority appeasement, and here multiculturalism, there are certain elements, there are certain people who enjoy the fruits of multiculturalism, enjoying the fruits of multiculturalism and strengthening the roots of
So what is called appeasement politics is basically what you're going to. I have one follow-up question to this. You know, I think it's today's Hindu or yesterday's, but there is a story out of Haryana where a village panchayat has decreed that Muslims in the village cannot wear beards or skull caps or whatever, but also must now move to having Hindu names. This is from a panchayat in Haryana. Is this the inclusiveness we're talking about?
No, you cannot connect.
No, this won't stand.
No, you can,
I'm asking.
You cannot connect all these developments to the RSS.
Okay,
in the society there is a prejudices, there is a bitterness, there is a mutual conflicts. These exist. These are the realities. RSS want to change these realities in its own way, that is non-violent and constitutional manner. Mohan Bhagwat ji re-emphasized that we have complete faith in the constitution. We are guided by the constitution and in a democratic way. So the way anything which happens in the Hindu society, all saffron flag is not the RSS, and all the red flag is not CPM.
Correct. So which is why I'm making the distinction that we're having this conversation here, but it's the trickling down to this panchayat.
That's what my point is. Finally, I just want to say that I welcome what Mr. Bhagwat said,
right?
And I take him at face value. And when he says all his messages, if his message is towards reducing or building harmony in society and reducing multiple fault lines of polarization, then it follows that I would expect, as a journalist, even Rakesh ji would expect that there won't be Shamshan Ghat campaign, you know, Kabristan Shamshan Ghat type of campaign won't happen in the coming elections. So is that I'm asking Rakesh, is that a reasonable expectation?
You know, the Mohan Bhagwatji's concern is the nation's integration. He is not election centric and politics centric.
Fair enough. Okay.
Had it been an election centric, politics centric, there would be a different version. He made it clear what RSS stand, how RSS workers should do. Next one important thing is that Mohan Bhagwatji also communicated to the nation that you should have better relationship. So I consider him that RSS has assumed a new role of relationship leadership. But you know, the entire anti-RSS narrative has been demolished by Mohan Bhagwatji 3 days conclave, because their narrative was based on certain misquotation from the bunch of thoughts, and also we are our nation defined. I am telling you, this has to be made it clear. We are our nation who defined was not authored by Sri Golwalkar. It was originally authored by Ganesh Damodar Savarkar, elder brother of V.D. Savarkar. Sri Guruji has just translated it. So anti-RSS narrative should also change. They should come to the dialogue with the RSS rather than demonizing this.
Okay, so Professor Sinha, as a last question, if I so as a last question, if I can just ask you, we're out of time right now, is you've said that this is not related to the election at all, and we accept that. I mean, there is an internal rethink or reiteration, as we talked about. But can we hope, therefore, that this message will impact the political discourse you see around you in the run-up? I mean, it may not be an intention, but can we hope it will?
You know, my experience for last 1 week when this conclave began, the Congress people are discarding the RSS, and certain left people are discarding the RSS in the old manner. Old-fashioned discarding that RSS is communal, we don't need certificate of the RSS. Mohan Bhagwatji,
they are not changing.
They are still demonizing. But you know, sometimes discourse change from the below. When Mohan Bhagwat's message is not to the political circle only, it is for the common people. The common people sitting in the drawing room, a simple housewife doesn't like the kind of TV debate which is taking place. So such kind of discourse would definitely change, and I say that this is the beginning of the resurrection of a healthy, constructive, critical debate in India.
Rakesh Sinha, thank you so much. MK Venu, thank you so much for being on this show. I know many people might not expect Wide Angle to discuss the internal churnings of the RSS, but these are important conversations to be had in the climate we live in. Thank you all for watching Wide Angle.
To receive instant updates on all videos from The Wire, click the subscribe button and hit the bell icon. Pay to support independent journalism. Click the link in the description and choose the amount you want to pay.